Welcome to my hardcore Iron Man playthrough of The Lord of the Rings Online. Here, I'll attempt to reach the max level of 160 on the max level 9 landscape difficulty, which increases incoming damage, decreases outgoing damage, and introduces new dangerous combat mechanics. Sounds easy enough with some trial and error, but here's the catch. Each of my 12 characters, one for each class in the game, have one life. If a character dies, it's dead and is unplayable until another character reaches the next gold level, rewarding one revive. Gold levels start at level 20 and go up by 10 levels each time. I don't even know if this is possible given the infinite dangers in the world of Middle-earth and how difficult level 9 landscape difficulty makes exploring the world, but we'll find that out together. With no auction house or player trading, will I reach max level before losing all 12 of my characters? Let's find out. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, Hazken, what on earth is landscape difficulty modifier? Landscape difficulty modifier, or the Path of Valor, is a mechanic introduced in Lotro that will artificially adjust your stats, making combat more difficult. It also introduces the Eye of Sauron mechanic, which will throw columns of fire on you from time to time, and Enraged Corruptions, which is a buff that the enemy will get from time to time. The buff's effects depend on the color eye on their boon bar. Red decreases damage taken, increases movement speed, and can double their outgoing damage. Yellow decreases incoming damage, makes them immune to disabling effects like stuns or slows, and increases their run speed by 30%. And blue decreases incoming damage by 75%, increases their run speed, and gives a small increase to their outgoing damage. With this addition, it makes power creep, a common occurrence in older games of this genre, a non-issue, as you can now determine the difficulty of the adventure ahead of you. They even added achievements and titles for playing with the world on heightened difficulty that you can earn on level 1 and level 3+, respectively. But they also added levels up to 9 for gluttons for punishment like myself. At level 9, literally everything could spell my doom. Level 9 decreases my outgoing damage by 86%, decreases my chance to hit by 40%, and increases incoming damage by 600%. And if that wasn't enough, it also lowers my mitigation stats by an additional 6%. Even a mob that's 7 levels lower than me could be my doom if I'm not careful. And that's what makes this challenge so difficult. Infinite danger, area denial, and unexpected buffs on enemies that I have to try to play around or try to remove with corruption removal skills. I'll have to fight for every stat point, kill, and experience point on my pursuit of max level. So let me introduce to you the game plan. I have 12 characters to work with varying levels of difficulty for this challenge. Bjorning, a class I can turn into a bear and fight my enemies for example, has insane amounts of self-healing, making this challenge not all that hard as long as I don't do anything stupid. However, a class like the Brawler, where your main character trait is throwing a beer mug at the enemy and then punching him in the face, has next to no self-sustain, on top of being melee, which makes this challenge almost impossible. So, I've devised a game plan. Step 1. Determine my frontrunners. My frontrunners, the characters paving the way, will be my Bjorning, Minstrel, Warden, and Runekeeper, as all 4 of these classes have some mix of tankiness, range, high DPS, and self-healing. These frontrunners will also be my primary crafters. You see, crafting in Lotro is interesting. To craft, you have to go out and gather resources from nodes, loot chests, and mobs of certain types within the level range. What makes it interesting is you have to gather all these resources with under-level gear, make it out alive, and then when you finally go to craft the gear that was on level, you've now leveled past the efficacy point of that gear, making what you just worked for weak for the next area that you're about to enter. It's essentially a perpetual gear grind. This is why our frontrunners need to be our strongest classes. Despite the stat disparity, I'll still be able to progress through the levels, gather resources, and then strengthen the weaker classes falling behind with strong on-level gear and utility items. Step 2. Assign crafting professions that make the most sense. The crafting professions that made the most sense given the 3 profession cap are as follows. My Bjorning is my Prospector, Metalsmith, and Weaponsmith. He'll be able to gather all ore nodes and then use them to craft heavy armor and metal weapons like swords, axes, and battle gauntlets. My Minstrel is my Forester, Tailor, and Woodworker. He'll be able to gather all wood nodes and can tan hides that we get from the mobs. He'll be able to craft light and medium armor, as well as wood weapons like spears, bows, and instruments, which my Minstrel uses as his primary weapon. My Runekeeper is a Prospector and a Jeweler, able to gather ore nodes, and as a jeweler can cut the gemstones. And with those gemstones can craft jewelry and runestones, which my Runekeeper uses as his primary weapon. My Warden, I made my Scholar. He'll be able to gather Scholar nodes inside the ruins and craft utility items like hope tokens, potions, and stat point scrolls. And lastly, I made my Burglar, my Farmer, and Cook. The beauty of this is my burglar I would rate as one of the hardest classes to do this challenge on. However, as a farmer and cook, you don't have to go out and gather resources to craft. You simply need to buy seeds and grow what you need, and whatever resources grow out in the wild can be gathered by anyone, no crafting profession required. Doing this will allow me to level my burglar without getting in harm's way. And step 3, don't die. Wait, well, actually, hold on, let me. Play to your current class's strengths. Some have pets I can use as a shield, some have range I can kite the enemies out with, and some have traps that I can use to hinder and confuse the enemy. There's so many nuanced strategies I can do with each of my 12 characters, I just need to identify the combat strategy and play it perfectly. In this episode, we're playing my Warden. In the last episode, episode 0, which you can find linked in the description or in the Hard Core Lotro playlist, I started the challenge off by leveling my minstrel to 12 and crafting armor and weapons for my Warden. The goal for this episode is to reach level 12 of my Warden and gather as many scholar ingredients as possible, and craft as many damage and defense scrolls as possible, which will make me deal more damage and take less damage when fighting mobs. Our journey starts at level 6 because of the starter instances you have to play before entering the main game world. This varies depending on the race you choose and which starter story you choose. But as this is before you're able to activate the landscape difficulty, it's not pertinent to the challenge. So after grabbing all the quests and adding Prospector and Forester to my crafting profession list so I can gather every node I come across, I headed out to start completing quests to level up. So the Warden you'll see is primarily melee. I'll unlock the ability to be fully ranged at level 10, but I plan to stick to melee because it's faster and easier to build up my gambits. Gambits are the unique class mechanic of the Warden. As you can see when using the red, green, and yellow skills here, it puts a corresponding spear, shield, or fist into my gambit panel. Different combinations of these three will unlock a new skill. Shield line gambits, gambits that start with the shield, are more defensive, giving me defensive stat increases like parry rating, which increases my chance to parry an attack, taking less or no damage from an attack. But they can also heal, like the Gambit Preserve, which heals initially, over time, and adds a 2.5% increased healing modifier when used. It's these skills I'll use to survive fights. Spear gambits, gambits that start with the spear builder, are pure damage focused, and their damage scales off the weapon damage levels. For example, spear plus shield makes stomp, which is a single target finisher. But you also have spear plus fist, which makes offensive strike, which is an AoE pure damage finisher. Which gambit I want to build will depend on the situation in front of us. Being able to choose between stronger single target or weaker but area affecting skills is huge for adapting to whatever curveballs the challenge will throw at us.
I am at your service.
There we go, level 7. This is huge because not only does this unlock the gear that we crafted last episode, but also level 7 unlocks the fist line gambits, Fierce Blow, and Warcry. These skills deal light damage and scale off my physical mastery stat and not my weapon damage stat. Fist line skills often also add a damage over time effect to the enemy, which is a king for this challenge, because stacking as many damage over time effects, or as I like to call them, ticky-tickies, on the enemy allows me to kite the mob while the conditions do their damage, preserving my health and my power levels. But these 2 skill gambits are rather weak. At level 12, I'll unlock 3 skill gambits, which are stronger and will add to the arsenal, allowing me to stack more defenses, deal more damage, and stack more ticky-tickies on the enemy. Another reason we're aiming to reach level 12. Alrighty, 5 more wolves, gotta gather this timber, and then we're on to the next area. And that is quest done, and level 8, baby. I don't see any new gambits, though. Unfortunate. Man, I'm in resource heaven, though. Look at this. 1. Rich copper. 2. Bunch of strawberries. 3. And, hold. Wait a minute. Drop a vine clover, honey. 4. Look at that. Looky there. Alrighty, token place. Let's head on back here. Yeah. Oh, looky there. Shattered pictures. Yes, sir. This is what we need. As many as these we can get. There we go. The more of these we can get, the more scrolls we can craft. And...
Hail, friend, and well met.
boom, level 9, baby.
Milan, will you stay a moment?
Okay, so after turning in one of these quests, we actually got these 2 early 3rd Age relics, which we need for the scrolls. And I think, yeah, we have enough to make 4, 2 of each. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And boom. Okay, so now we've got 2 of each, and yeah, we should be able to use these in the next dangerous area that we get into, so. Okay, so with each level, I actually get 1 class trait point, and I actually have a couple unused here. So what I need to get is, ooh, actually this Defiant Challenge is really good. So every time they hit me, with that Defiant Challenge up, it's a skill. As long as I have that up on my bin bar, they hit me, and I retaliate. I think it's like 6 damage. But what we're looking for here is light damage. So the build that I'm trying to go for here is tanky, good self-healing, but also has good damage over time, because Warden has so much light damage and so many bleeds. The more damage over time traits that we can spec into, the better. So this light damage trait here is actually going to be perfect for our build here. So we're going to rock with this and get going. Alrighty, picking some grapes. Picking some grapes. Oh, hello there, Mr. Sentinel. Come get some. Sack all these on you real quick. Alright, back to picking some grapes. And I am rooted. Oh boy, now. Oh, looky there, it's Mr. Bossman. Come get some. Can I get this off? Yes, sir. Oh, looky there, your friend's coming to help. Won't help all that much. There we go. A little bit of loot. Okay. I'll take a potion. And now I just gotta get over to this shattered pitcher. Excuse me, sir. And one more. Hello, sir. You're in my way. I need more scrolls. And shattered pitcher. Alrighty. And another pitcher for the road. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Wolf. I'm gonna try again. Another pitcher for the road. And this should do it. Level 10. And 2 more scrolls. And as a reward for our fine work at the vineyard, we got a fine wine. Let's enjoy this and the view. Delightful. Okay, so it was at this point that I made an oopsie. I went AFK for a moment, and I hit pause on the recording. And then when I came back, I never hit play. So we might have lost a good 4 hours of playtime, but never fear. Here's the quick recap of what we lost with post-play recording. So I continued on with my Warden, taking on another goblin camp, and they were absolutely chunking my health. But I made it through and finished the quest, reaching level 11 and almost level 12. But because they were chunking me so hard, I decided I was going to go level my Bjorning, because I had also crafted a club for him in the last episode. And it was taking up space in my shared inventory, so once I emptied all the crafted gear, I could once again push ahead on my minstrel and make my Wardens to level 12 gear. So I level my Bjorning, running around as a big scary bear, smacking everything and taking essentially no damage because of the infinite healing I have, until I reached level 12. It was here I decided to smack a level 15 Elite Warg, which, by the way, Elites, indicated by this ring around their portrait plus the eye at the top, are tier 3 enemies, way stronger than normal mobs. And on top of that, he was multiple levels above me, so after 2 seconds of fighting this thing, I realized I'm gonna die, so I go running for my life through the woods. I do make it, however, not 10 minutes later, I'm back in this ruin destroying all these bandits, when one of these hunky boys spawned. And me in my infinite wisdom decides, yeah, I can take him. So I fight the Wraith, get him pretty low, and then the Wraith critically hits me for 80% of my health pool, instantly killing me and marking the first death of the challenge. My toughest character. Remember when I said this? Bjorning, a class I can turn into a bear and fight my enemies, for example, has insane amounts of self-healing, making this challenge not all that hard as long as you don't do anything stupid. Well, here we are. And now I have to try to revive him with another one of my frontrunners. And it was after this death that I realized I didn't press record. So I took the tons of resources that I grabbed from my Bjorning's run and refined it all in my Warden, officially completing the goal of reaching level 12. Only question now is, what do I do next? Find out in the next episode. Gathering grapes, yeah, fighting off goblins. Gathering my grapes while they running off hollering. Yeah, grabbing grapes, yeah, gathering grapes.